Hello and welcome to the Learning Enthusiast. I'm Chris Simmons, and in this episode I just want to do a really quick video on some easy project to do in Lightburn, and that's to make trays. So I have a little tray like this I did, a bigger tray. It doesn't matter, it's pretty simple. Once you basically learn how to do it, the easiest way is really to take a box design and then modify it to do a tray, and it's fairly simple, just a few steps. So I'm going to really show that, and that's going to be a really quick video like I said. So let's look at the box site. So I use box.py. I mean, that's not the actual URL. I'll put a link to it in the description, but it's a box tool developed on Python, so that's why they call it boxes.py. Let's go there, and here it is here, and it's basically pretty standard. And if I can pull up this, just the first thing, you couldn't really see it, but was a box, just a simple box. It's a box. It's the top one that you can click, and very simple. You can put in your widths, your heights. So, and this is in millimeters, so you're going to have to remember it's in millimeters, and you can use, outside or in. You check this for the outside dimension, so you want to make sure that it's got those outside dimensions that you want, and or you can uncheck it and do the inside, but I always use outside, pretty easy. And you can change the bottom edge to be different things. I usually do like it's kind of like a flat thing, but I'll show you that in Lightburn. So these are fairly standard. I usually leave the finger joints for this, but you can change that. You can also do a box in Lightburn by your, with doing your own box joints, and I have a video on that I'll link down in the description for how to do box joints. But fairly simple, and you can create, once you create this, you can then export it as a SVG or PDF or whatever, but SVG works great for Lightburn. So let's move over to Lightburn, and I'll show you a box that I had. Just take a second. So this is a box that I did originally, and you can see the sides, the bottom, the top, and this goes to the top. But if you saw, this is basically a box, but there's no top on it, and we're going to modify each sides. So that's what we'll do here. And you don't need me here. So let's look at this and see what we can do here. I'm going to delete the lids, any lid parts, and really we can just concentrate on two sides at the most. So we're going to make a side that has a slot, and we're going to make a side that will then have basically an ellipse, so we can inline. So you can decide how much you want to do this, and just make a general ellipse that you can then move around. So depending on how much of a cut you want, if you just want a little bit of a cut. And here's another tip on this other one I showed, the tray. I had smaller sides. This is a taller sides. So it all depends. This is a box that's 106 by 106 by 63 millimeters. So you can decide on how you want that to be. Then you want to take your ellipse, and you want to make sure it's centered here. And then what we're going to do is, as long as these two are selected, and this always is the easiest way here too. Also, if you go into your tools, if you're not sure which boolean to use, there's a thing called a boolean assistant. I don't think this will show in the thing, so you can't see it here, unfortunately, in the screen share, because it's a separate window. But you have these 4 things. You can go over them, and it subtract, and won't actually do anything. It just shows you, previews it until you click it, and then once you click it, and that's this subtract. So then you have this. Now, depends on, do we want this even out? This may not look even. I'm going to look at this really quickly. So the problem here is you want to make sure your ellipse is kind of an even number between the width. And, it's a lot of it's by kind of like by eye, I'd say. Even though I centered it, it's the width, and maybe you want to use, and I have this in inches. Let's move over to millimeters. An even number, so let's just try an even number of 76, just to make it even. And then we're going to make sure it's lined up in the center, and then we'll do this thing here, and sometimes you have to hit it twice, and there you go. That should be a bit more even. So that's one side, and we'll duplicate it. So you can either use Control D, or use the Apple key and D, or you can just right click and say duplicate. So there you have 2 of the sides already done. And then I want to do one more, and I want to have basically slots, what we call slots. So I'll just do a rectangle. It doesn't have to be exact. And then I kind of will select that and select this, make sure it's in the middle. And I can make this thinner, I can make this whatever, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to round it. So I'm going to use the radius tool. And depending on what kind of, so that's a little bit too much of a round, so I'm going to click here, I'll go back. So that was set at 10. Let's do 5. Let's try that one. So 5's a bit better. And then I'm going to do that one, that side. I'm going to do all 4 sides. And that should be good. And there we have it. And now I'm going to select these 2, and I'm going to group them just because I don't want to be moving it and then have it, and then do right click and duplicate. And there you have your 4 sides. So pretty simple. Just glue it, just go on your laser, cut it out, whatever cuts for the thickness of the wood that you're using. That's another thing in Boxes.py. Make sure you put in the thickness of your wood so that this gets corrected. The right amount is, these will be the right amount, so it will fit together tightly. If it doesn't, it may not fit perfectly tight. You that you glue it and stuff. But I would say the other thing you can do too is make sure if you want to do kerf, make sure you do kerf adjustment in Lightburn according to your kerf. If you do that, there's a lot of videos out there on how to find the kerf for your laser and to adjust that. And it's just a lot of trial and error, I'd say. So we're just doing trial and error. If you don't want to have to go through and do all this stuff, I do have a link to the tray file that I did that you can download and do yourself, and it's got 3 different size trays. So you have a small tray, you have this big tray, and I did a tray like this. But if you want to customize your own trays and make your own size, and the other thing I was going to say too is, if there's a little bit of space, if you put felt down, you won't be that noticeable. If you stain them, you can stain them, paint them, whatever you want to do. This one is a faux walnut, so that I used. You can use whatever materials you want. and make them your own. Or like I said, I have digital file for sale on my site that you can use just if you want to have those files for those three, and then you can just be able to make them your own and do whatever you want, customize them, engrave them, paint them, whatever you want to do. So that's really good. So I hope you enjoyed this quick video on using Lightburn and Boxes.py to do trays, to design trays. Very easy, very quick, and they come out really nice. So I encourage you to try it. Remember, or I want to say, follow this channel. It'd be nice. Give a thumbs up to this video, like this video, and subscribe, and share this video with others that are interested in doing this kind of stuff, doing trays or Lightburn or whatever. And I have some different videos as well, and I'll be continually making different videos on different things I do in Lightburn or with the laser or CNC and that. So hope you enjoyed this. Thanks again for watching, and remember to never stop learning.